Hi, this is Lynn, and I wanted to welcome you all to the call here tonight. The topic is going to be about sleeping better, and I'm really excited about that. My husband, and when I first started using the Solle Naturals products, my husband had always tossed and turned and snored for the entire 18 years we had been together, and I suggested to him that he take 2 of the Verdezymes before he went to bed. And then I went off to bed, and later that night I woke up and didn't think he was in bed, realized he was. He wasn't moving. I literally, contemplated, I thought he was dead. I was like, what would it feel like if I reached over and touched him and he's cold? I mean, that was he was so still. And so I finally realized that he was breathing, and then my fear was, oh, my gosh, he took half the bottle. And it turned out that he really didn't. He had taken 2, and he had an incredible night's sleep. He takes them all the time. He was just out in my driveway telling people about that when I saw him earlier. So he loves them, and I just cannot even begin to say how much better they have made our lives. So I really wanted to share them. And I asked Jennifer if she would mind helping me. Jennifer is a holistic aromatherapist and international educator and teaching diplomat of spiritual photoessencing. She owns her own custom aromatherapy business, and she's the regional director and public relations coordinator for the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy. And I met her at a convention and just was so grateful that I did. I consider her among my blessings in my life to have her. And she introduced me to Solle Naturals, so that's even better because I get to share this journey with her as well. So I'd like to welcome Jennifer to the call, and thank you so much for doing this webinar for us.
Oh, you are so welcome, and I'm so blessed to have met you too. This has been such, an exciting journey, I think, for everybody these past few years. From what I've seen from people, just a lot of transition, a lot of change. But with transitions and change comes a lot of stress, and when we're really stressed out, we don't sleep as well because we have so much mental chatter. We have all of this interference that, is happening into our life. So there we go. So, Lynn and I were talking, and we're like, you know what, I think we really need to share what we know and share some great tips and some insight and things that can really help people get a really good night's sleep. So how many of us want to be like this lady on the screen? We just want to lights out, snoozing, go into our nice REM sleep, and just wake up really, really rested. Wake up, it's a bright, sunshiny day, our mind is clear, our body is pain-free and ache-free, and we just feel great, And what I think happens is I think we kind of wake up like this. I think we wake up and we want to hit the snooze button, and we're like, really? The alarm clock just went off. I could use another 5 hours of sleep. Insomnia, it just, plagues a lot of people, and it's going to plague everybody at sometime in their life. But what I do find is when we have lots of stresses and we have lots of change and we have lots of transitions, and our body isn't equipped or given the right nutrients and nourishment that it needs to handle the everyday stresses or the situational stresses, then we don't sleep good. We have people that are on a lot of different medications, and sometimes some of the side effects is that you don't sleep good. For people that eat a lot of sugar before they go to bed, you wind the body up, and then sugar causes inflammation in the body, and then our body doesn't get to do what it needs to do in the nighttime, and there's a lot of research. I had a research study sent to me today that, there's 2 really good tips. If people could do these 2 things, they would get a better night's sleep. And one of them was support the cognitive functions in the body. That means you support our brain. We feed our brain, but remember, your gut is your second brain. It's your second first brain. It's not just our second brain, it's our second first brain, because everything you endure, physical, mental, emotional, environmental, nutritional, spiritual, everything has to go through the digestive tract to get processed. It's recognized by the brain, but it's processed through the gut. And so they work hand in hand. So the first thing is that we have to really support our cognitive function, concentration, focus, memory, but also managing our stress. Because when we get really stressed out, it throws our pH off. Then we don't absorb the nutrients we're taking in. It's one thing to take something, but it's another to absorb it and utilize it, and to be able to do something with that. So, ask yourself, what happens whenever you don't get enough sleep? How do you feel? What are some physical things that you feel? I think for a lot of people, they, may have, some aches in their pains. They may have a headache. Some mental things that you may feel is anxiety, depression. I know depression is a huge topic right now with, this enormous loss that we've all just suffered with Robin Williams. I mean, I think it puts a spotlight on, maybe we will understand, what people are going through. You pass people every day. You talk to people every day. We see them in social media. We see them at work. We see them as we drive by, our neighbors, and you never know what somebody, is battling on the inside. The mental and emotional stuff, people kind of push to the side. They bury it, and they don't focus on that. The physical things, if you're hurting and you're in pain and I see you limping, I can see you limping. But if you are emotionally wounded, I don't see you limping. So for a lot of people, out of sight, out of mind, but we really need to focus a lot of attention on how do we feel mentally? How do we feel emotionally? Are we grieving? Are we angry? Are we experiencing fear? And nutritionally, is blood sugar off? And environmentally, what kind of toxins are we breathing in when you sleep? Did you just wash your sheets and your pajamas in a heavy chemical laundry detergent? And now that's what you're breathing in tonight. Because if that's what you're breathing in, your body's job during the nighttime is to do detoxifying maintenance. It works on the gallbladder and the liver and the lungs, all of our organs that support our detoxifying process. So if you go to bed with some toxins, you just are overburdening it. It's like you're making it go to work with no water, no tools, and you keep, just dumping a whole bunch more work on it while it's trying to work. So let's look at why sleep is so important. We have a good laugh and a long sleep are the best cures in the doctor's book. This is an old Irish proverb. A good laugh. How many of you feel so much better if you have a good laugh? And we're talking a good belly laugh, like hysterical, almost to the point that, that you snort. I mean, just hysterical. But getting a really good night's sleep, then you wake up feeling really, really refreshed. And there's studies that have shown partial sleep deprivation has significant effects on our mood. So if we don't get a good night's sleep at nighttime, then we kind of wake up moody, like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and sometimes it's hormone related and sometimes it's because we didn't get enough sleep. So what they found is that subjects who were limited to only 4.5 hours of sleep a night for 1 week reported that they felt more stressed, angry, sad, and mentally exhausted. But when those subjects resumed a normal sleep, a good sleep, they said that there was a dramatic improvement in their mood. And through the nighttime when we're sleeping, our body gets to rest, our mind gets to rest, and then our detoxifying organs gets to do their job in getting the toxins out so that our body isn't stressed by all of the stuff we've been through in a daytime. But it's also a time for repair. And so whatever damage is going on the inside of our bodies, we need to have some repair, and that repair happens when we're in a good REM sleep. So, those are some reasons why, because, of course we all want to sleep better because we know we feel better, but there is significant studies that show, look at these things that happen when you don't sleep. It's not just that you get moody, but you don't detoxify stuff, so there's a huge contributor to weight and adrenal and thyroid issues. It doesn't get repaired. And we don't detoxify. So with sleep deprivation, some things that you might notice, And if you guys have any others that you want to throw out, certainly this is an interactive presentation as well. But some of the things that I hear from people when they don't sleep is they just, and that should say brain, not Brian, so obviously my brain wasn't functioning when I typed that. So a brain function, this cognitive function. Our memory isn't as sharp. We're not as, swift with our thoughts and putting things together and problem solving and making decisions, and our focus and alertness. Our productivity and our creativity, whether it's at work or at home or with our children. Our mood gets affected, anger, frustration, depression, anxiety. People have panic attacks. Their body aches. They have neck tension. They have a headache. They have eye irritation. They may have dark circles and, just really irritated skin around the eyes. We have poor digestion. Our immune system isn't as sharp. And our circulation gets thrown off. So, and it's a huge contributor to weight. So many people have, they try to get on a regimen for a weight management, whether it's to gain weight or to lose weight. And, whenever we don't sleep, that gets thrown off. And our blood sugar gets thrown off as well. So as we go through this, I want you to think, oh my gosh, that sounds like me, or that sounds like somebody that I know. Because we are recording this presentation so we can share it with somebody who may need to get this information. Because if we can share just a little tip to inspire you to make a couple changes so you can get a better night's sleep and feel better, everybody else around you is going to be so appreciative. So let's do a sleep assessment. Okay, so I want to ask you, and you ask yourself, do you have trouble getting to sleep? Or do you have trouble staying asleep? And if you have trouble staying asleep, what time do you wake up the first time? Are you having any thoughts or dreams? Is there nightmares? Is there something that's waking you up? And some things you want to look for is you want to look for patterns of stress. I don't always have trouble getting to sleep, but around that time of the month, I have trouble getting to sleep. Then it gives you a connection, a pattern of, okay, maybe it's hormone related. Or every time I have to travel, I can't sleep. Or every time, I have to give a presentation, I can't sleep. You want to look for patterns. Is it the anniversary of a traumatic event? Is it a temporary situation? Or is it something more significant? So these are some things that can help you in your own sleep assessment, because sleep is tricky. A lot of people think they can just go do a glass of wine or, do some passion flower, but you really want to understand the body. You want to understand, why am I having trouble getting to sleep or staying asleep? And so some of the insight I'm going to share is you want to be in bed by 10 for two reasons, two huge physical reasons. You want to be in bed by 10. That means there's no TV on, there's not a lighted clock, there's no radio, there's no stimuli. You are in bed because you are going to be out, and we need to get you into your REM sleep around 11 o'clock. Because at 11 o'clock, your second wind or your second adrenaline kicks in. And your second adrenaline kicks in for the reason that your body is about to enter into maintenance mode. It is going to do maintenance on your detoxifying organs all night long, so when you wake up, you can take out the trash. You have your urinary system is functioning, and you're having a great bowel movement, taking out the trash. Okay, so 10 o'clock, your second adrenaline kicks in, or at 11 o'clock, your second adrenaline kicks in. But that's also when we start entering into gallbladder. Okay, so when I asked you before, do you have trouble getting to sleep or staying asleep? For those of you that answered, I have trouble getting to sleep. From 11 to 1, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., your body is doing maintenance on the gallbladder. And so the gallbladder's job is to break down fats, but to produce all of this dish soap, okay, to start washing the dishes and washing all of the trash. So when it gets to the liver just can chop it all up and break it down in smaller parts to start getting rid of it. And so for people having trouble getting to sleep, we want to look at, are we breaking down our fats? And there's some things I'm going to share with you that would be great for that. So from 11 to 1 is gallbladder. From 1 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning, our body is doing maintenance on the liver. So for those of you that said, no, I have trouble, I can get to sleep, I just can't stay asleep, and I wake up at 2 o'clock every night. If you wake up at 2 o'clock every night, then you're kind of in that liver zone. So you want to do things to kind of support the liver. It's telling us that the liver isn't quite able to do its job to its fullest ability and its fullest function to chop everything up, break it down, and start moving it out. So you want to be able to give some support to the liver. And then from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., your body is doing maintenance on the lungs. Okay, that's respiratory, and respiratory is a form of detoxification because when we exhale, we're taking out trash. That's how you get rid of gases and, different type of toxins. But it's also putting oxygen in the blood to getting things to move out because at 5 o'clock, we should be having a good bowel movement. That's when we're moving into the intestinal area. And so those are the reasons you want to really strive. And if you're one of those that go to bed at 1 a.m., okay, well then let's try to get you in bed by 12. I'm hearing some background noise, so if you just want to mute yourself, it's *6 to mute yourself. And then if you want to open your line so you can ask questions, then you'll just hit *6 again. So you want to be in bed by 10 so you can have your adrenaline can be fully devoted to detoxifying. But if you're having a lot of mental chatter and you can't quiet the mind, and we're going to talk about some aromatherapy that will help, but also get you a piece of paper and a pen and write down, what are you worried about? What are these things going on? Then you're like, I got to do this, this, and this. Write it down, put it on the paper, because now it's on paper and you're not going to forget it. It'll be there for tomorrow. And then we're going to look at some herbal remedies and aromatherapy that you can diffuse or put in your bath or make up a linen spray that are going to give you some benefits. Before we get there, I just want to kind of throw out some daily tips, because sleeping is in the nighttime, but remember, there's things you need to do during the daytime to allow the nighttime to be restful, and that's managing your stress. So finding a hobby, maybe you journal and get some things out so you're not keeping things bottled in. You find some me time, even if that's a 10-minute tea time. You want to move, some type of movement. If you sit at a desk all day, well, then get up and walk around. Do some movement. Do some type of exercises. Get your body moving. Aromatherapy is very powerful for stress. You also want to stay hydrated. You don't want to drink a lot, probably 60 to 90 minutes before you go to bed, or else you're going to get up with frequent urination in the nighttime. And then there's some herbal and vitamin and mineral supplementation you can do during the daytime to give your body the tools that it needs so it can do what it needs to in the nighttime. And so my solution for sleep, this is the Solle Sleep solution, is we're going to look at things that are going to help with that insomnia, the mental chatter, the exhaustion, the stress, to make us more motivated. And that's going to be some enzymes, some probiotics, some adaptogens, and some aromatherapy. And so I'm sharing with you the Solle formulas for a couple reasons. I've been involved with herbs for about 12 years, and I find great benefit with them. But sometimes for ourselves and even people that we're working with, it has to be simple. We can't be overloaded. I may take 10 herbs a day, but not everybody's going to do that. So how can we get the biggest bang for our buck and have the highest quality to give us those really good, efficient results that we feel better mentally and physically all at the same time? Because sleep, we have a lot going on, but we're worrying about something. There's fear going on. People with urinary issues, we hold the emotion of fear in the kidneys. We hold the emotion of grief and guilt in the lungs. And so not only with people with lung issues do I work physically on lung, but I want to work on the emotional stuff. And Solle is one of the only companies out there that work the mind and the body and the gut simultaneously. And so I've been, very honored and very blessed to work with them, since they've started the company. But I formulated their essential oils too, so we do have this simultaneous connection here. They're very committed to the quality of what they do, because I can share as much information as I know, but if you're not doing a high quality, and there were studies, CNN even posted it, 85% of the stuff that's on the marketplace, half of it is dirt. I don't want to be paying for dirt. If I'm going to take something and I'm going to invest in something, I want it to work for me. So Solle really is focused on using the right parts of the plant, getting it from the right suppliers, making sure that we're being environmentally responsible, that we do our testing on it. They make small enough batches that the freshness is always fresh. Nothing is ever going to sit on the shelf and lose potency. So, they are very committed to their quality. And so this is why I use the Solle products, and I have seen amazing results with this program here for sleep. And this is kind of like a 3-in-1 enzyme, and it's like a 3-in-1 probiotic. And a 3-in-1, I'm meaning most places you're going to have to take 3 different things to get what this one enzyme does, or you're going to have to take 3 different things to get what this one probiotic does. And the same thing with the adaptable that they have, because we need to manage stress. Remember I said we need to have cognitive function, so enzymes and probiotics, but we also need to manage the stress, and that's the adaptable and the aromatherapy that's here. So this is kind of a 4-prong. So I'm going to break it down so you understand it better, because you know your body better than anybody else. And so you need to know, what do you need for you? Because then when you're helping other people, you can connect with them better, because now you have your own personal testimony. And Lynn shared with us the Verdezymes, what the Verdezymes did, not only for her husband, but for her, because she can get a good night's sleep now because, her husband's not snoring and waking her up in the nighttime. But we need enzymes for just about every function, for every body system in our body. It allows us to absorb nutrients from the foods that we eat. It allows us to assimilate it, which means break it down, wring out the nutrients and push out the waste, and then to utilize it. So it's taking these nutrients and putting them on a bus and telling it, hey, go here because, the urinary system needs this, or the circulatory system needs that, or the immune system needs this. So enzymes really activate the body to function at an optimal level, but they also support the immune system, because your immune system is in your gut. 80% of your immune system is in the gut. Your serotonin, we hear a lot about serotonin now. Serotonin is your happy juice. It keeps you rational. It keeps you happy and joyful and able to multitask and stay on task and just manage stress. And when the serotonin, if the gut is in bad shape and the serotonin cannot connect and make its way to the brain, then we're seeing depression and anxiety and panic attacks and bipolar. And even with children, we're starting to see ADD and ADHD and behavioral issues. So enzymes, to me, should be a huge staple in anybody's program. Everybody should always be doing an enzyme. And when we turn 40, our body stops producing as much. So we start aging from 40 on, we don't have as much enzyme, so we need that support in our body. So, with the Solle, we have these nice enzymes. It's a full spectrum of plant enzymes, all from a plant, but there's also protease in here. And if you know nothing about protease, remember this. Protease is good to break down fats, but also yeast and candida. And yeast and candida and parasites oftentimes happen, or they're a response when we have sugar growth in the body. We've eaten too much sugar. We have too much inflammation. Our pH is not right. So protease is going to be really important to balance the pH. But remember, people with gallbladder issues or having trouble getting to sleep, we need that protease to break down those fats. For me, I've had a history of Crohn's and colitis and leaky gut, and so I have a hard time breaking down fats. I need help. Anybody with digestive, upset, or, their digestive system isn't working the way it should, we need help. That's what protease does. So we have full enzymes, we have protease in here. Now there's a combination of herbs that are amazing to calm and soothe the linings of our gut. And why that's so important is because the integrity of the linings of our gut need to be strong so we can absorb our food, we can assimilate it, we can utilize it, but then we don't get gas, bloating, indigestion, cramping, weight gain. We need these things in here. So passion flower is very calming, but passion flower calms the nerves. So this is why so many people report not only digestion support, and they get such great benefits on digestion, but they're getting a good sleep. The wood betony also supports the nerves in the body. Marshmallow is very healing. And marshmallow root is not the marshmallow you roast in an open fire. It's actually a root. And it's very healing to the linings and to the membranes and tendons and ligaments and joints. And then we have peppermint because we all know that that's great for digestion. And then there's some fiber in here. So hopefully you can see how amazing this enzyme is. I used to take 3 things to get what this one product does, and I'm so happy I can do this now. I can just take this, and that kind of got rid of 3 things. You know, I consolidated that down into one. So I use it for me. I use it for my pets. I mean, it's wonderful. You're going to have bowel. You're going to notice some things with the bowel. You should have a good, healthy bowel movement after each meal. And so a healthy bowel movement is about 12 to 18 inches long, like a ruler, tapered on each end like a banana. It should come out in one piece. We shouldn't be sitting there reading a novel. You know, people shouldn't have to strain or have constipation or get hemorrhoids from that. So we should have a healthy bowel. That's what the Verdezymes do. They really help with the digestion for that. But they also, remember I said it's going to support the nerves in the body, so it's really going to help with sleep and worry. And if we get upset easily and we just need to chill out, we need to relax, take a chill pill. This is your chill pill. So for our mood, it's going to help with stress and anxiety and nerve issues, panic attacks. On a physical level, we're getting that support with digestion, but also the intestines, the urinary system, so bladder and kidneys, our skin. So think of people with skin irritations and rashes and acne and, you know, anything to do with the skin. Enzymes are so powerful to support and nourish our bodies so that, because your skin is your 3rd kidney. If toxins can't get through the colon, they're coming through respiratory. If they can't get through the respiratory, they're going to start coming through the skin. And then you're going to see some nerve imbalances. But it's also very good to balance our serotonin levels. This blend has the properties of being anti-inflammatory, anti-parasitic, antifungal, antiviral. It's just awesome. And, you know, a couple extra tips when you're looking at your lifestyle is you don't want to eat 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, because remember, you want to be able to digest your food, but your body needs to go into maintenance mode, and it needs to do that without any hindrance. If you eat before you go to bed, now you're making it work to digest, and it still has to go do its job to detoxify, and it can't finish its job to detoxify because now it has to digest the food and let it take its course. So then we get behind the 8 ball. You do that one night, not so bad, but if it's a continual habit, it builds up over time, it accumulates, then we start having some issues. So I usually do 2 enzymes with my meals to break down my food, but then I will do, 1 or 2 before bed. And that really helps my body through the nighttime do the detoxification. Now, if I ever do a candida or yeast program, I take 2 with a meal, but then I do 1 in between meals to break down stuff in between. So that's how I use the enzymes. The second part here is a probiotic, but this probiotic has a few different things. It's not just probiotics. You have 5 really good strains in here, but they're strains that are specifically shown to help with the gut and the brain connection. We have to do them together. It's not just the gut, not just the brain. They're both. It's this whole communication that's going to help with the stress and mood. There's thermoresistant, which means it's shelf stable. You don't have to keep it in the fridge. If you put it in the fridge, you're going to get, it's going to keep it more potent, but you certainly can keep it on the shelf for, a year or two, and it's still going to be shelf stable. But in addition to those 5 strains, you have a clarifying formula with some fiber. And these clarifying herbs in here really enhance that whole gut-brain communication. And when I talk about gut-brain communication, I want you to think about, you've heard that grapevine saying, if I tell Lynn something and then Lynn tells Michelle and Michelle tells Carol and Carol tells Katiara, and we keep going down the line here, by the time it gets to the last person, I bet you what they hear is different than what I said. And so there's miscommunications along the way because there was some interference or maybe somebody didn't hear something right. So we want everything to communicate. When we're gossiping, yeah, I guess we can fix that down the road. But when your gut and your brain and your whole body depends on that communication to function, so you don't get stressed out, you can be in fight or flight when you need, you don't get adrenally exhausted, you can sleep really good, you can think clearly. This is really important. So we want to make sure the communication is there. And Bacopa is really, it's so historically known to help with brain function, but also gut function. So it helps people learn better, memory association, memory recall, mental disorders. And I think we're starting to see a lot more with mental disorders coming out in the news now. People are more open to talking about it, but the anxiety and the depression, the red reishi that's in here is just really, really good. I didn't know a whole lot about red reishi until I started studying about it, but it's a really powerful antioxidant. An antioxidant means like an anti-rust, an anti-aging effect. So how many of us are want to make sure that we have that smooth skin and we try to combat those wrinkles as best as we can? We need an antioxidant. That's the red reishi. But it also stimulates brain neurons to enhance communication. It's going to protect our cells and our energy in our body and our DNA. So it's kind of like a unique protein that gives us these benefits. And then we have fiber in here. And people like me probably freak out when they hear the word fiber because fiber, with me with Crohn's and colitis, I had more of the diarrhea side and I thought fiber made you go more. And I'm like, no fiber, please. But then I learned fiber actually knows when to bulk you up and when to loosen you up. So it's great for constipation or diarrhea. It just knows what your body needs. But it's so important for the gut for detoxification and nutrient assimilation, meaning, we're absorbing that. And so this formula is just so powerful with everything that's in there. And you're also going to get the added benefits of digestion. Your immune system's going to be stronger. You're going to be able to sleep better because your serotonin is balanced, your blood sugar is balanced. You're going to notice mood enhancing, mental focus and concentration and alertness is better. Physically, you're going to see better skin. Your bowels are going to function better. The urinary system, your glandular system, which is your thyroid, adrenal, your hormones, reproductive, and pancreas. Emotionally, you're going to see, that you don't worry as much. You don't have this excessive worrywart type. It's going to help ease if you're upset or depressed. For depression and anxiety and mental issues, probiotics is number 1. Your Verityzymes, your enzymes are going to be a very close number 2. So these should always be staples no matter what you're working on with your health. But you're going to get some anti-inflammatory, analgesics, and antidepressant properties out of the probiotic. I usually do 2 in the morning and 2 before bed. If you want to stretch it out and you want to do 1 in the morning and 1 before bed, that's fine. This would be a month's supply. Because I've had Crohn's and colitis and, I was more in a devastated state. I was in a life-threatening situation. For me, probiotics, always number 1 for me. So that's why I do 2 twice a day. Most people can do one a day or, 1 twice a day. And I like to do it on an empty stomach because I just find it multiplies more. I get more bang for my buck out of it that way. Now, the third thing is called Adaptable. Okay, so we've talked about the cognitive functions. How do we support communication in our body so that we can enter into a nice sleep? Now we're going to talk about how we manage that stress, that twofold process there. So we want to have what's called adaptogens. Adaptogens help the body adapt to changes. You know, we go through stress, ups and downs and all arounds in the daytime. We can be happy and sad and mad and all kinds of stuff. So we just need to balance that so we don't get wigged out. We don't suffer from fatigue and exhaustion, you know, just because we go, and we give, and we don't have time to take care of ourselves. This is the me time, taking care of myself in a bottle. So this has 6 very powerful adaptogens. Some of these may look familiar to you: eleuthero, schizandra, ashwagandha, astragalus. I don't quite know how to say this one, but I think it's wagulin, I believe, and then rhodiola. And rhodiola everybody should know because Dr. Oz talks about that all the time. It's literally one of his favorites. So we have adaptogens in here to help us feel rejuvenated, to calm down our bodies, and to really nourish our nervous system so that, you know, our body can go into this restful sleep. But there's also St. Johns Wort in here. And I've always, as an herbalist, I've always associated St. Johns Wort with depression. And I'm like, well, why would I do St. Johns Wort? I didn't think I'm depressed. You know, and I think a lot of us get into some depressive states and may not realize it sometimes. But St. John's Wort is amazing to help the digestive system and the gut communicate better and do its job better. It's a wonderful nervine. So for a lot of people with pain, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, achiness, any pain in the body, St. John's Wort is amazing as an analgesic for pain relief. But it also helps our mood. It's like makes us happy. You know, it's going to knock out any stress that we feel. But it's not going to make you like, I don't care. It's going to make you feel like, okay, this is going on. The situation, it's not a great situation, but I can handle it. It's all good. I'm going to stay focused and concentrate, and I'm going to be able to work through it. It just keeps you positive through any situations. Like if you ever feel overwhelmed or overworked, you know, if you just need to increase your performance and your stamina, your focus, you know, this is a great formula to do that. It's also going to support the immune system, your skin, your hair. You know, we all want nice, you know, luxurious, lustrous hair. And so some people with alopecia that are losing their hair, a lot of time it's a B vitamin deficiency, and I have clients that take a lot of Bs, but it's one thing to take it, it's another to absorb it and assimilate it and utilize it. And this is the formula we need to make that happen. And so, and a lot of the adaptogens in here have naturally occurring B vitamins that your body doesn't need to break down. They just VIP, they go right in and do their job. But they're going to support nerve and gut health. I never knew St. John's Wort was so wonderful for IBS and Crohn's and colitis and leaky gut and fatigue. So it's so wonderful. Itchy skin for people that, you know, they say, you know, I just got a rash or my skin's itchy. Their eyes itchy. You know, it's great for wound healing. And then you're going to be able to get some antibacterial, antiviral, analgesic, and relaxant properties from this formula. So, you know, and I'm not ashamed to admit, you know, I've, you know, had my business for a long time, and, you know, I do many things. I wear many hats in my business. But I had some changes that happened a couple years ago, and I had to go in caretaker mode. You know, both my parents got diagnosed with cancer same day, and then I just went straight into caretaker mode. And I just took care of them, and that's what my job was. I could do aromatherapy, and I could teach here and there, and I could, you know, do certain things, but I just went into that mode. Well, you know, they're better, which is wonderful. It's great. They're on the upswing, you know, and now I'm kind of getting back into my business, and it was like, wow, everything that I had built up before and all these projects that I was working on, I had to let go. Now I'm kind of in that rebuilding phase, and I was in a little bit of a depression because, you know, you have one identity and then your identity shifts. When you have a job change, or you bring somebody new into the family, or, you know, we go through so many changes But just think about when we go through transitions and changes, that kind of brings on a new identity or changes and shifts our identity. And we have to be at one with that. And sometimes we need a little bit of help to accept that and own that and then be able to move forward and work through that. And that's what this formula is so amazing for. It it keeps me right on track all the time. I just really love it. Now, for my favorite, so I know I'm a little biased because I formulated it, but I love the Calm Essential Oil Blend. And with Solle, they have 4 categories they work from: lifting, clarifying, balancing, and calming. And the calming category is kind of signified by the color blue. So I thought, how cool would it be if I could create this blend and make it blue? And so there's a few essential oils out there that actually are blue, and blue chamomile is one of them. Blue chamomile kind of has a little bit of a fruity, earthy scent, but it is amazing for adrenal exhaustion. For those of us that go, give, we have to multitask. We have to be a chameleon in the daytime, and then we really would love to have a great night's sleep and we just can't. Blue chamomile is so wonderful to kind of calm and soothe and relax the body and the mind simultaneously, to quiet that mental chatter. But then we also have some petitgrain in here, and petitgrain comes from the leaves of the bitter orange tree. So the bitter orange tree, we hear the word bitter. So for people that are going through some emotions of bitterness and resentment and forgiveness issues, this is the formula you want to think about. Patchouli, I know, is a love it or hate it. It's kind of like that hippie oil, but patchouli is also one of the best to help you let go. If you're having trouble letting go and moving forward, and you're holding a grudge and you can't get past something, it just is eating away at you, that's patchouli and oak moss. They both are very grounding, and a lot of people that say they don't like patchouli, they actually love this blend. And the number one response I get back about this blend is I get the best night's sleep with this, because supporting adrenal, thyroid, which is regulating temperature in the body, anxiety, nervousness, fear, fright, nightmares. And this blend is a powerful antifungal and antiparasitic, because a lot of times parasites come out in the nighttime. There's over 8,000 kind of different parasites. If you're around pets or eat pork or, go to the gym, sometimes we pick it up, when things aren't disinfected and so forth. So everybody probably has parasites. So it's nothing to freak out about, but we want to give our body some tools that our body can fight them off and not let them invade us and own us. Simply smelling the blend would be great to do that, but also mixing it up in a bath salt and soaking in a bath or putting it in some oil for a massage oil would be really good. And this blend is a strong anti-inflammatory. So you think of neck tension, muscle aches, muscles, joints, tendons, ligaments, sprains, trauma to the skin, an insect bite. We want to think about the Calm blend. And so I want to give you this recipe. I call it the Go to Sleep Spray. And I do 22 drops of the Calm. I get me a 2-ounce bottle, and then I put 22 drops of Calm in there. And then I usually will either put water or the Nature's Fresh plant enzymes I put in there. I mix it up, and I'll spray the bed linens. I'll spray my pajamas. I'll spray everywhere in my room. I'll even spray my dogs. Because remember, it's antifungal and antiparasitic, so this is one of part of what I do for a flea and tick prevention with us. But it also is going to help with pet dander and things like that. So I use it for me and for my dogs and my cat that sometimes likes to sit at the end of our bed and meow at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I already know liver is going on there, but I'll do some Calm, and it just quiets her down. Now, that's my program. I do enzymes, probiotics, some stress management, and my aromatherapy. Now, if you want some extra support, then I do the essential fatty acids, because remember I said there's some things you want to do in the daytime to help you. Well, the essential fatty acids they have are plant-sourced, and it is an essential fat for the body. And so remember earlier we talked about people having trouble getting to sleep. You know, it tells us gallbladder's not able to break down some fats, or digestive system is having a hard time breaking stuff down because of gut compromise. So the thing that I love about this omega is that, you know, when I saw the formula, I told them it's great, but can you please add a fat emulsifier in here? So they were able to add the lecithin in here, which is from sunflower. A lot of lecithin comes from the soy, but this actually comes from the sunflower. And so we're getting our omega-3, 6, 7, and 9, and our fat emulsifier, which means we can break down the fats better and drive it in. This is what keeps us hydrated. You know, it keeps our nerves like a slip and slide so that everything, all of our neurotransmitters and everything in our body can communicate better on a slip and slide. How many of you would like to go on a slip and slide where it's not slippery? I mean, you're not really going to go anywhere. So we need our nerves in our body like a slip and slide. That's what the essential fatty acids does, as well as help with, you know, depression and our immune system and urinary system and our brain. You know, great. We need fats for our brain, but we also need good fats when we're trying to lose weight and to break stuff down through the detoxifying process. So I do my omegas during the daytime. I usually do, you know, 2 with breakfast and 2 with lunch. If I'm having some really dehydration going on with my skin, then I'll throw 2 in the evening as well. But also minerals, doing your daily minerals. And so the Soul Vital not only tastes good in my opinion, but you're getting chlorophyll, which is helping be a blood purifier, but also supporting the skin, great to give you energy. You're having an herbal minerals in here, like with your dandelion and alfalfa, so you're getting a full spectrum of minerals to help your body, you know, conduct business in the daytime so we can have good function. And we have stuff in here, some adaptogens to help with the mood and the stress. But it's also helping balance our pH. So anybody with joint and kidney issues or detoxifying issues, we know the pH is off. So we need some minerals. And so these are some additional things I add in just to complement that type of program for you. So some other benefits, because yes, we're talking about sleep tonight, but look at the other benefits you're going to get from doing this program. Better digestion, immune system, focus, concentration, so cognitive, antifungal, antiparasitic, adrenal and thyroid support. Your mood's going to be more balanced. Your emotions are going to be more balanced. Not going to feel as overwhelmed. You'll have more energy, vitality, productivity, and creativity. So how many people don't need any of that? I think we all do. We can't live in a bubble, and so we certainly need some help. And so I just wanted to be able to share those particular things because I think they've made a huge difference in my life. I know they have for Lynn. A lot of my customers have gotten great benefits from that. And so the really cool thing with Solle is they offer a free discount membership. You just can go right on, you know, to the website and sign up for free, and then you can start buying at wholesale prices right away. And they reward you for rewarding yourself with your health. So every time you buy products, they're going to give you rewards back. And so you can use those rewards towards future stuff. So maybe you start with the core 4, and then you want to add essential fatty acids later. Well, you know, you wait till you build up some points to do that. But Solle also gives you some free education. They do things like what we're doing tonight. You know, they may talk about diabetes or depression or anxiety or, you know, just various things. So you're getting this free education, and you're getting it oftentimes from a doctor. We have Dr. Allison Caldwell-Andrews, who specializes in mental health, and so she shares her wealth of knowledge as well as some other people. And then we have this website that we connect into. It's our Solle Essentials Experience Facebook page where we share. You know, if you have a question, hey, what would you do for this? What would you do for that? You know, I had a friend post, you know, what would you do for Bell's palsy? What would you, you know, do for, you know, the skin thing that I have going on? And you are going to have all of us chiming in. So you're going to have this community that you connect into, and you can ask questions to help yourself or to help somebody else, but also to learn and to share your testimony. So it's a nice little community in doing that. And then for anybody who, you know, likes to get into business and, you know, wants to get rewarded for sharing the products and earn some extra income that way, there is a business plan. And you can talk to Lynn and I afterwards about that if that's something that interests you. So the Solle Sleep program, the Sleep Plus is what I call it, the Sleep Plus program. If this is your first time being introduced to Solle, we want to say thank you. And we have a $25 off gift card that you can use on your very first purchase towards this. That way it makes it a little bit more affordable, but it also allows you to get introduced to the products to see how they do for you. And so you want to make sure that you get back with us and you let us know. That way we can get that to you. And like I said, they reward you for investing in your health. And so, if you bought $50 from them, they're going to give you 5% back in a product credit. If you spend $100, you're going to get 10% of that back. So now you've just earned $10 back to continue helping yourself get well. I think we all think about investments, and we invest in our car, and we put gas and oil in it. We invest in our savings account, but not many people think about their body as an investment vehicle. And we really need to be investing in ourselves. And Solle recognizes that, and then they also want to reward you for doing that. And I just think that's so cool. And then if you decide, hey, okay, I want to get on a monthly program, and I just really want to help myself every month, they offer this monthly program where you can have it shipped to you automatically every month. And you can change what you order, and you can change when it's shipped to you. But if you do that, they're going to give you an additional 5%. So I'm always about cutting out the coupons and where can I get most bang for my buck and save. This is one of the ways that you can do that. And then we all like to pay gratitude forward. I know that I'm very grateful for the people that I have in my life and the blessings that have been brought to me. And so Solle believes in that too. And so they have started this Heart and Soul Foundation where they pay it forward. So a portion of every product sold goes to this foundation, and the goal is that we can help women and children with physical and emotional needs. And their long-term goal is to open up the Solle Center, where this is going to be a center that everybody can go to, where we're going to conduct some really critical, life-changing research that supports things for the mind and the body. And so I love that they have this and that we're able to help. And so if you wanted to get set up and you wanted to get started with this program, then you're simply just going to go to sollehealth.com. And then you're going to go, and hopefully you took some notes so you know which products were right for you. Some of you want all four. Some of you may just want the aromatherapy. But remember, if your order goes over $75, you want to let us know. That way, Lynn can get you that gift card so you can save an additional $25 off on there. And then if you decide you want to do the monthly thing, it's called the Solle Safe program. That way, they make sure that you get everything that you need every month. So I just want to thank you guys for joining in tonight, and I really commend you on taking this time to learn about how can you better help yourself and get a really good night's sleep to help everybody else around you. So thank you so much, and Lana, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate that, and I love learning from you because I always learn something new every time. And I did want to say that we have used the Calm. We have our grandson who is 3.5, and we use the Calm in his room to kind of help him sleep because he has some sensory issues and he has anxiety. And he sleeps very peacefully here. And sometimes we do send it home to his parents' house, but they don't always use it until, they think about it when they don't use it every night. We use it whenever he's here. But we had him for about a week unexpectedly. His mother was ill and had to go into the hospital. And so we had him, and after a couple of days, his anxiety was just getting really bad, and he was just kind of bouncing off. He didn't know it was a new situation and what was going on. And I thought, he wasn't sleeping well even with the Calm. And so I thought, we've got to do something. So I just opened up a capsule of that Verdezymes and put it in his nighttime drink, the drink we give him, before we send him off to bed. And he and his grandfather were watching a movie, and my husband said, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden he just conked out. And I wasn't sure how much to give him, so I put about a third of the capsule in there. And the next couple of days he was just, chilled out. I mean, it didn't just help him that night, but it, helped soothe him, the next day and into the next night. Because he was just going back to the babysitters after the babysitter had been on vacation, so he had a ton of change going on in like a very short period of time, and his sensory stuff was just all over the chart. So I loved it for him as well.
And I find that a lot with a lot of kids with behavioral and sensory issues, even autism and things. Sometimes when you can get some good nourishment going on in their gut and get some adaptogens and some stress relieving stuff to go in to support their adrenals, they balance right out, and they balance out really quick.
Lynn, this is Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Hi. I do have a comment and maybe a question. You know, I'm a GI nurse. My husband's a GI doc, but we definitely believe in the brain-gut connection, and certainly the leaky gut. And we have a grandson who's now 7, who's on the spectrum of autism. And I have been looking into probiotics for him because there's been some recent studies, you know, that really talk about how it can really help alleviate some of the quirkiness and the characteristics that they can often have associated with the ASD. And I'm looking for a good probiotic that I can get into a 7-year-old. What is the compound of your probiotic, and how do I get it into this kid?
I would open up the capsule. I mean, you know, I think for a lot of kids you can do it a couple ways. I have some parents in a similar situation to you that open it up and mix it in their smoothie. I have some that are opening up and putting it in either some olive oil or some honey, just as something to hold on to it and to get it in, or they're sprinkling it on some of their food. One lady's putting it in the oatmeal that she gives him. She gives him, you know, she makes the Bob's Red Mill gluten-free, and she puts it in there. So, you know, I think that's great. You always, not that this is the funnest, but you always can do probiotics rectally as well. You know, so you can do it in an enema form. Most people don't like it that way, but I know when somebody's in a chronic situation, that's always best. You know, but I have some parents that are doing it with their 2-year-olds, you know, all the way up, you know, to 99. So if it were me, I mean, I love this probiotic. And I learn too. I mean, I teach all the time and I know a lot, but of course I don't know everything. And I always love to learn from Dr. Caldwell Andrews because she is a mental health specialist. This is what she sees, and she is on the advisory council because she's a huge advocate for mental, you know, the gut-brain connection. And she sees a lot of that same benefit as well. So I've done a lot of probiotics over the 12 years because of my particular issues, but I will tell you, I love this one. So, I mean, if you're looking for one to try, I would certainly give it a shot, you know, and see how it does. But for a kid, if they can't swallow capsules, I mean, you can open it up, and you can put it on a spoon and just give it to them, but, you know, it's not too grainy. It's kind of very, you know, very fine grain, but you may just want to mix it in some food or, you know, a smoothie or in some honey or, you know, olive oil or something of that nature.
Yeah. And you would recommend giving it, how many capsules to a 7-year-old who weighs 50-something pounds? Would you do 2 capsules a day?
Yeah. I mean, I would. I mean, I weigh, weight-wise, I mean, I weigh, you know, a little bit more than twice that. So, and I've done 4 to 6 a day. I mean, there's days when I've done 8.
Right. And I'm thinking maintenance program. Because I think
as a maintenance, I think you're going to get great benefit with one, but certainly because there's a little bit more of a chronic issue going on, I would look at maybe 1 twice a day.
Yeah, and I usually can do that. And fortunately, this guy will take whatever I give him, I mean, including a pill. You know, and so I do have that as an option. And we're looking for something, the studies that have been done, and they've not been done on humans, and I believe in the brain gut, and I believe in the leaky gut, and I believe that, you know, all of this can leak into our blood system, and our body has to deal with it, and it can create lots of characteristics. We've got from diarrheas to, you know, these autism characteristics. They even have these characteristics in these mice, and they alleviated them by giving them D. fragilis, which is the type of probiotic that they were actually using to work with. So it's something I'm looking into. I think I would like to try it. Right now I've got him on a little simple probiotic that it was one that I could find. I was thinking about compounding, but this might be something that would work for him rather than going to the problem and the expense of compounding, which is
because
another thing.
You have people that have already done a lot of science behind this, and there's a lot of testimonies behind it. And when you go to soulhealth.com, you'll be able to click on the products link and pull up the probiotic and look at the 5 different strain names that are in there, and you'll be able to, see some research on them as well. But, I always think that's important. Omegas or something you can look at, and our omegas are plant-based. So if you bite into it, it actually doesn't taste bad. Right. I mean, it tastes pretty good. So you have a few options there, but if you just want to start with something like a probiotic, I would certainly look at this one.
Okay. And it has fiber in it, but no stimulant, nothing of that sort.
Right.
So I wouldn't have to worry about that. Yeah, fiber is a great tool because the body does know exactly what to do with it.
Yeah.
It either bulks it up or it pushes it.
I know. It took me the longest time to realize that.
Yeah. And somebody with UC or colitis, certainly Crohn's, that fiber is not necessarily something you want to fool around with sometimes.
Right.
It can create so much of a problem for you. Well, I appreciate the information. I'm always thinking about things. For me, I'm in my 50s, about sleep, and I like some of your ideas as far as that goes. Lynn, thanks for inviting me.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you also for answering my questions.
Absolutely.
Slightly off track, but in the same token.
With Liam, with our grandson who is 3, we actually, we have some drinks that we use that have probiotics and mix everything in there. But, Liam, we did, after the last webinar we did, I think it was Michelle and Jennifer were talking about, Michelle accidentally bit into one of the omegas. So I, of course, had to go bite into one of the omegas. And I will say that, I could chew those it didn't bother me to chew them. I was kind of expecting something horrid, but it wasn't like that at all.
No, they actually taste okay.
Yeah. So I've been really pleased with the Soul line. I've been into natural health for a long time, but my husband only does it when he's in crisis. And he would do something if he was sick. Like he'll come to me if he's got a cold going on and he wants to just keep it. But with the Soul products, they act so immediately that he just got on board, and it's like he does them every day. He looks for them. If he thinks we're out, he starts freaking out, wanting to know when the order's coming in. So he's really invested in this company, and he just feels better all the way around, I think, overall. And I know when he's not taking them, and I think he does too now. So.
And it's all plant-based. It's all vegetarian. Some of them are vegan, with their products. So, but it's all surrounded by plants, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's helped a lot. So.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, that sounds good. I'll look at Lynn. You can send me that website again, and I can look at the probiotics. I think I'd like to potentially start there. Okay.
Yeah, I sure will.
All right. Well, thank you both.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lynn. Talk to you soon.
Okay. So do we have any other questions or comments? Or I was just checking the chat room. So,
I just checked over there. I didn't see any questions.
Okay, great. Well, Jennifer, again, thank you. Oh, was somebody else talking?
No, I think that was me.
Okay. I wanted to thank you again so much for your time and putting together these great slides so that we can do. I know I love to have the visual, so that's extremely helpful to me to follow along. It helps me stay focused and not get lost in what's being said.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate all of your support and your wisdom and your willingness to share it. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for listening in. And, it's a great community to be a part of because we all learn from each other.
Right. So, well, good night, all, and I know I'll be resting well because I've got all this stuff here tonight, so I'll be taking it.